It's human nature, you know, we're taught something. You learn something in school, right? And you like to believe that what you read in school in the textbooks is correct. It gives you a sense of well-being. I know. I know about cells. I know about cell membranes. I know about the nucleus inside the cell. I know about the water inside the cell. I learned all of this in school. It feels good. It feels secure. And someone comes around and says, no, 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 it's all wrong. It's difficult, and human nature is to resist because it feels unsettling when that happens. I think that's the reason. I think it's human nature. You know, we're all human. Unfortunately, in science, it doesn't work because the entire scientific method is based on the challenging of the status quo, right? That's how we make progress. That's how it's scientific revolutions that occur that change everything, that bring new understanding and new knowledge. Otherwise, we're stagnant. Unfortunately, we've had almost no scientific revolutions in the last 30 or 40 years. So if I were to ask you to name 3 scientific revolutions in the past 30 years or 40 years that have changed everybody's life, you wouldn't be able to, right? If I said 70 or 80 years ago, no problem, right? Like the genetic code 65 years ago, the splitting of the atom 75 years ago, and all the famous physicists from 100 years ago coming up with all kinds of, practically every year, a new scientific breakthrough. But you don't hear that anymore. Sometimes you'll hear that so-and-so laboratory found XYZ, and this promises to cure cancer. But usually the promise never happens, is the problem. So we don't have scientific revolutions, and I think the reason we don't have scientific revolutions is the ability to challenge the status quo. It used to be that science did that, and now there's every effort to block scientific revolutions. For example, in the pharmaceutical companies, right? They think they understand the methodologies, and they don't want anybody to challenge them because it makes it more difficult to sell the pharmaceuticals. You know, they'll say, well, this one is a calcium channel blocker or a sodium channel blocker, you know, or a pump inhibitor. We found good evidence that these membrane structures don't exist. The proteins are there, certainly, but they don't do and this is very unpopular. And it's unpopular in part because I think of what I mentioned in the past. We feel comfortable sticking with what we already have learned, but also, you know, there are various agencies that are very happy to keep things as they are, you know, and I don't need to tell you about those. So this is a problem, and I think the problem needs some cure, and because science is not moving the way it's supposed to move. There's so much money that goes into science. Of course, the scientists complain, not enough money, but there's a huge amount. If you compare it to, say, 100 years ago, when revolutions were coming through one after another, and now there's so much more money, but no revolutions, so we don't make progress. Long answer to a short question.